freak out about the Knicks.
No.
I got them freaking out about the Jets.
I'm not going to freak out about the Knicks.
Okay.
That doesn't mean I'm not pissed. I'm not going to freak out.
All right.
See, to me, when somebody freaks out, that means that they lose all sensibility.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And stability, which happens to me on occasion. It's just not going to happen now. All right. But I am bothered by
I like those BT days.
Yeah, I don't, but they surface. Here's what bothers me about last night the most. Now, let me just get this out of the way. Knicks are going to win the series still. I'm not wavering off that.
You sure?
No, I mean, until it happens. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe that they will. What bothers me about last night, if I saw this coming for 2 days, I don't know how the hell they didn't see this. For 2 days, the Cleveland Cavaliers, who played Saturday and Tuesday, sat in their homes, got in their cars, went to the facility, had tape of game one shoved down their throat till their eyes were bleeding, told they were soft on local radio, debate shows, their coach, Bickerstaff crushing them, everybody. So you knew that they were coming out like Cujo, the old foaming dog. How's that for an old school reference, Hoff? Old horror flick there. That dog, the rabid dog?
Yeah.
All right. So you knew that they'd be ready. The only thing we didn't really know is how the refs would let them play. What level of physicality, based on the reaction to game one, would the referees allow to seep into game two? That was pretty physical. So I read the 4 quotes yesterday. I'm not going to read them again, but you heard them. Bickerstaff was one, Okoro, Mitchell, and I think Garland was great, by the way. You got to give credit. Garland was phenomenal. And they literally told the Knicks and us, we are coming for you. We are going to be physical. And one of them said, we got to throw the first punch. Obviously not literal, but that's what he said. I think that was Okoro, but it was said. And the Knicks came out as if there was no warning, as if there was no flair, as if there was no notion that the Cavaliers would do whatever it took to flip the script. The Knicks weren't ready. The Knicks were soft. The Knicks didn't adjust. The Knicks were inefficient. That was the worst Knicks game of the season.
I mean, here's why. It felt like it was solely dependent on Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle. And in fact, the first, 12 points? Maybe 13, because he made a free throw. 13 points, Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle.
Yep.
Everybody else felt shell-shocked. And in fact, I actually flipped over, so I watched the first period of the Rangers and the Devils, as I said I would. And Rangers got out to an early lead, and they powered the special teams for the Rangers was
phenomenal.
Amazing.
Their
yesterday.
stick work was sick.
But intermission, which lasts for 4 hours in hockey, allowed me to flip over. So I flipped over, and I'm watching the Knicks in the first quarter. I missed probably the first 3 minutes of the game, and it was already 12-4. So I'm watching the first quarter, BT, and they only went scoring 20 points. Both teams around 21, I think, whatever it was, 21-20. I looked at the Knicks and said, they look shot. Like exhausted, not because, they overrested or whatever, they're out partying, not that. They were working so hard to keep up with the physicality that you're alluding to from the Cavaliers. I was thinking in my mind, this is going to be a long day because they blew a lot of energy in the first quarter. And then the worst part about it, and we saw this, it was kind of a hangover from game one. IQ looks overmatched in the postseason.
I don't know what's going on with him. He looks like a different player, boy.
He got trapped in the right corner, right? And this was the bad turnover where he jumps in the air and tries to toss it back.
And he had 3 of those in game one.
Exactly.
Where he left his feet with nowhere to go.
And so it's one thing to do it once or twice or 3 times in a game. And then, be excoriated, Tibbs telling you, hey, don't do that. Take a timeout, throw it off somebody's leg. Do something else other than that. Right, almost remind me of Kihei Clark in the first round for the University of Virginia, tossing that ball with 3 seconds left and ended up losing that game. You do anything but that. And so, again, he struggled. His defense, I guess, is okay. What we expected from IQ offensively is just not there. And if it's not there, the Knicks cannot win. They just can't. especially against a physical, and young, vivacious team like the Cavaliers, who are just going to run at you.
Well, I agree with almost everything you just said.
My point is Randall and Brunson can't do it alone.
I agree with, but listen, they're not going far without IQ getting his act together. But that young, vivacious team that you just described, one thing, and I know we haven't seen the Knicks in the playoffs a lot, but we've seen other playoff teams, and young kids on the road, it's a different story. So now that we come to the Garden, we got to own MSG, which we will get the win on Friday night. But that does mask some real deficiencies here. They have not played well.
They haven't. Hell, they didn't play well in Game 1.
They won without efficiency, which is a testament to their character. All right, now Brunson missed a lot of I don't say easy ones, but ones he always sticks. Yeah. I'm not worried about Brunson. Randall could have, God forbid, had his neck broken with 2 minutes to go in that game. And I know what he said. I know what Thibs said, that he wanted to shake the rust. There's no way he should have been in that game.
No.
When he got crushed by Allen. I thought it was dirty. When you leave your feet, you got to lay out. Early on, I could tell, kind of bouncing around a little bit here.
Well, they gave him the one, though, the flagrant one.
Yeah, but who cares? That's not the point. You're down by almost 30 points. Get off the court.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. So, Mitchell, you could tell early that even though Knicks had the early lead and eventually it was tied, that they were off. Like Mitchell Robinson had at least 3 or 4 loose balls or rebounds that he just couldn't squeeze. And the Cavs wound up getting it. The little things that almost you take for granted, kind of like a little handoff, and as you initiate the offense, Cavaliers were at midcourt. They were trapping. They were fighting through picks, and they were ready, which we knew that they would be. Yeah. But the other issue is, I know that nobody played well. Here we go again with Barrett. Dude can't make a shot, man. He can't shoot.
Well, the role players, it's a cliche.
But he's not a role player. He is a starter that was bestowed a big contract who averages 20 points a game.
True. But he presents sometimes like a role player. What I mean is...
Well, that I agree with.
What I mean is that they play better at home. This is the cliche. Role players and bench guys, they play better at home than they do on the road because of the energy and the whatever. I don't even know why that makes any sense, but that's what people always say, and I hear it constantly, so I got to assume. I never played NBA basketball, so I got to assume that there's some validity to it. And if the Knicks role players aren't going to stand up to the occasion when it matters on the road, then that's the fatal flaw of this team. Now, the beauty, and this is where you push back, is that they were the underdog in this series, and they come out of Cleveland 1-1, right? So effectively, home court is shot for the Cavaliers, and so that doesn't mean the momentum is back in the Knicks' favor, but 1-1 you'll take, right? You're not as worried as if they would have left Cleveland 0-2. So they did some good things, mostly the guys you expected, Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson, even though he was grossly inefficient as well yesterday. But I don't know if I have faith that when they have to go back to Cleveland or even 2 games at home, that the role players are going to play the way that they need to play on the playoff level. It's a different game.
I'm sorry, Teak, 877-337-6666. Just to add a little something on quickly, and I would agree with this, and this is what's concerning to me. It's one thing if he was just missing shots, which he is, obviously. He didn't make a basket in the first game, but he's not taking a ton. All right. He's not even able to get away from their defenders.
I know
That's what's odd.
Yes.
He's getting pinched in the corner, nowhere to go. He's always proven so elusive and tricky and basically explosive off the bounce. He's going nowhere.
Yep.
So I would almost feel better if he was 3 for 23 because I'd say, well, that's not the quickly that we know.
No.
He's going to start drilling some shots. I don't know. Maybe they have something on him where he just can't get away from their grasp.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, and
Knicks better adjust.
And Grimes, he only had 4, and those were free.
But they never passed Grimes the ball.
Those were free throws, and that's partly the issue. When a team is as aggressive as the Cavaliers were yesterday, you gotta move the ball. You're not doing it by yourself, especially when you're getting trapped in corners and pinned, 35 feet out from the basket. Right? You got to move the basketball, and they didn't do a good job of that yesterday.
All right, Knicks fans, you know where to come. Let's go. 877-337-6666.